Art theory is very important in my practice because it helps shape where I'm headed. I'm especially influenced by abstract expressionism, which visually looks nothing like my art, but the values of art in that movement I take very seriously and I feel very comfortable with using in my practice. I'm Kristen Flynn and I'm an artist in the Western Downs. I am a printmaker, I'm also a photographer, a self-portrait artist, so 90% of my work involves my face, whether it's hidden or it's very obvious. My process is to find out who I am, what my identity is, and it's almost like a journal snapshot of that time. I had this great master printmaker teach me and introduced me into solar etching, and I really feel that the visual language of the etching really tells what I'm trying to do in my art practice. I find it fulfilling being an arts teacher in the Western Downs because I can help the younger generation build their own practice, see what they're interested in, help them dig and find answers to their deeper questions and provide them with the technical know-how on how to make that all come to fruition. Motherhood and being an artist together is difficult but rewarding. I can share different perceptions of the world. I'll bring my 6-year-old over to the studio, we'll run things through the printing press, things she's found in the garden, and show her simple printmaking skills. The printing press, of course, is a really old type of technology. The use of Photoshop and the way I make my printing plate, I really like the way that they merge together so they work for me in my practice.
I think it's mark making. It's all about connecting with what you want to draw, seeing, visualizing. We're visual artists, seeing what's in front of us, and our brains will do different things. You know, your response to one item will be different to mine. If I put a plant in front of a class, everyone will have a different response to it. I'm Lee Nicholson and I'm an artist in the Western Downs. I came out from Brisbane and I've been teaching for 22 years and really enjoying it. So I was teaching in my classroom and one of the community members stopped in the middle of the road and yelled out to me and said, "Oh, will you help us with the camel races, the Tara show?" And the whole community is on board, like all the students get in and paint. Everyone's positive and wants to, you know, better the community, and I really appreciate the support I get in the Western Downs. At school, I'm a bit of a jack of all trades. I have to put things together very quickly and I can do a lot of different things, but when I come home I like to paint landscapes and nature. I want to move forward into doing this full time. I've probably got about 55,000 images ready to go and I work out what I'm going to manipulate. I usually go out to other places, take those ideas and bring them back into my studio. I was inspired by some pretty great art teachers and I want to pass that on to this generation.
Being so ancient, I was actually a child during the Second World War, and so paper and pencils were a bit scarce, but one year my sister found some paints and gave them to me for my birthday, and that was a big event. I'm Meg Cullen and I'm an artist in the Western Downs. Turning 21, my older sister and I decided that we would go to England, and in those days you went by sailing ship. We bought bicycles and we were going to ride, we thought, around Europe. The scenery in some of those countries and the gorgeous buildings and the colour, and it's just magic. You've never seen anything like it. Well, I'm very happy that I've been able to do the paintings in the church and to help with the gardens. The inspiration was to really try and make it a place where people could come and learn something about the faith. It's been a great surprise. I never really thought about tourists coming. I simply just felt that a few visitors might come and look, and strangely enough it's developed into a tourist attraction. Well, it's wonderful to get out there in the fresh air, in amongst the trees and the plants and the bird song, and yes, it's grand, I love it. Well, the favourite painting I've done is one of my husband walking through the Bunya Mountains. Years later, after he'd passed away, I found that photo, and I've done that pastel, and so that one won't get sold.
Oh, I think it's very important to challenge yourself creatively and to improve your skills. Otherwise you stagnate, and I don't enjoy that. Hi, I'm Meg Stevenson and I'm an artist in the Western Downs. Well, I started potting in 1981 and I joined the local pottery group, got involved with the community, and then eventually I got tired of making coffee mugs, so I put to use some of the workshops I'd done, and I've been making glass work ever since. Well, the pottery group these days is more a social activity than anything else. Even though my main interest these days is glasswork, I still teach down at the Art Centre. We meet once a week and the ladies use their creative abilities, so it's a fun environment for people to come along and to enjoy themselves. I find glass a very interesting medium to work with because it's actually a solid liquid. First of all, you've got to have a glass cutter, an oil-filled one, and then I've got a grinder which takes off any of the rough edges that you need to and defines curves that you might have made. The little leaves in the trees are made with frit, and they are put onto a kiln shelf in just a little heap, and then you put them into the kiln and you fuse them together and they open up and make lacy bits, and that's what the foliage comes from. Well, most of my inspiration comes from nature, whether it be the Bunya Mountains or the Myall Creek in town here. So after I get the inspiration, I then come back here and play, which is all it is to me.
Dot painting, I love it, is because I can actually just relax, and then when I dot paint, it's like I'm there but I'm not there, I'm actually into the painting. I just find it relaxing, and that's just me. I'm Charlene Smith and I'm an artist in the Western Downs. So when I first started off with drawing. As I got older, I started adding colour to it. And then what I drew, I incorporated onto the painting, into canvases, and then it just took off since then. So I do all sorts of canvases, from big ones to round ones to real mini ones. So my auntie and my uncles, they actually teach you how to go out, source the wood, and then come back, and then they show you the process that you've got to go through for when you turn them into coolamons, emu callers, didgeridoos, clapsticks, and boomerang. But with the dot painting, that's all mine. It's just being go, go, go. Yeah, dot, dot, dot. So I've been playing footy for the last 5 years. Last year, I was asked to design a footy jersey for the Kingaroy Saints AFL footy team. And that was an honour. And they said, can I do one, an Indigenous design with the kangaroo in it? And I've recently done one, and it's called Kangaroo Plains. And hopefully we get to wear it next year. I just use earthy colours because you can't go wrong with earthy colours, because like you see, you got your olive greens, you got your brown, you got your burnt sienna, and yeah, it's just earthy colours are mine, my colours.
My friends all got me a voucher for Christmas to buy myself this easel, and from that it was just sort of the inspiration that I needed just to do something for myself. Hi, I'm Sonia Myers and I'm an artist in the Western Downs. So My background in visual art is as a teacher. I've worked at a local state high school for 16 years in various roles and capacities there, but since becoming a mum I've been looking at ways that I can sort of branch out and embrace my creative side a little bit more. And on the way to the coast one year I said to my husband, I just need something else, like what can I do? I want to paint. I just had a desire to paint, I guess. I love floral art because it's appealing to a wide audience, and there's so many types of flowers out there, and natives, like showcasing Australian natives is just awesome. A lot of local businesses and a lot of local women have reached out and helped me. Places like Pips and Cherries and Urban Paddock, and even my local florist who I used to teach. And it's just great to have that sort of support without even having to seek it out. They love to just build you up. I can't create canvases for everyone because they're very time consuming, and as a mum I'm pretty time poor at the moment. So I created tote bags and postcards so people can have a bit of my art in their house. I've started to run classes for kids from a variety of ages, so that's the future for me, I guess, continuing to roll with that and pride myself on that I can bring an outcome for any kid no matter their ability level, and they can walk away with feeling some form of success and to create something they can be proud of.
My influences come from a whole range of artists like Frida Kahlo, Modigliani, Picasso even, just combined it all, mashed it all into a thing that's become my own. Hi, I'm Tracy Irvine and I'm an artist in the Western Downs. So I grew up in a family of printmakers, and my sister and I would often be spending a lot of time with my parents while they were doing this. So Dad had these massive big reams of paper and he would just hand them along to us and we'd go off and draw, and they didn't have to deal with us for a while. My husband being in the police, every few years we've moved somewhere new and had lots of adventures along the way. Now we've settled in Chinchilla. It's a slower pace of life. There's not so much pressure to go places, to be somewhere, and I can just stay home in my little sanctuary here. I can create my own little world. I just start out with my layers of colour and then gradually a face will start to appear. It's almost a bit like sculpting in a way because I see the shape, and then almost the personality as well dictate which way I'm going to go with it. It's life's journey, I guess, from the feminine perspective. The art for me is my way of investigating all of that for myself. I can recall what mood I was in when I did a particular painting. So I've had success exhibiting with the Punya Art Gallery, our local gallery, and made sales through there, and I've moved into Instagram as well. It's just really awesome that people on the other side of the planet are messaging me and wanting to buy my artwork. So working full time, I find it difficult to get into the studio, but it gives me the weekends to look forward to, and I can come and relax and create and be myself.
There's a saying in art that we stand on the shoulders of the greats. So you're trying to capture something that you're observing. When you go back in history and you look at how they solved that visual problem, you pick up tips from them. I'm Bill Perry and I'm an artist in the Western Downs. I was fed up with my life. I was looking for something. I always wanted to draw, so I quit my job and went to the local art school. They invited me to do the full 2-year certificate course, and of course, yeah, so I went for it. In Brisbane, I was a figure artist. I spent a lot of time going to life drawing. When I came to Miles, no one was running any life drawing classes, so I had to look for other subjects like the bush, the buildings, so I had to change my focus and build up skills in those areas, and that's what I'm still working on. I transitioned to digital art because it's an art studio in this little tablet. You could do so many different things with it. I can transfer them to the big TV. It's like looking out at the environment from a window because it's life-size. I go up to the historical village, draw old cars, which I find very attractive. Could be the age relationship. Comparing the things I learnt 40 odd years ago to art now and digital art, it's like I was in kindergarten back then. The information available now is just incredible.
Living out here in the sticks in the Western Downs at a place called Cumberilla is the dream come true for us. G'day, I'm Guy Bray. I'm an artist in the Western Downs. Well, first of all, I was born in England, but my parents lived in India, and I ended up in New Guinea, and that's when I started developing my interest in wood. First of all, I had to build my house, and I did that with the help of the local people, and I learned a lot from them, and that in itself enabled me to build this house here. And when I'd finished doing the house, that meant I was able to have spare time to start doing my artwork. First of all, I had to do some furniture as well. I get a great deal of satisfaction knowing that all of my work is from salvage timber, and most of it is actually from tree stumps, and so I can see some shape in it, and if it's got shape and movement, I can work with it. So I work with ironbark, budgeroo, which is probably my favourite timber because of the fact that I can use all the tree stumps. I work with flame she oak, which is also known as hairy oak. I work with cypress pine, and they have the most incredibly beautiful grain in the tree stump. Yeah, I get a tremendous amount of pleasure walking through the forest here and through my olive grove, and from working here, maintaining my forest, because it's a sustainably managed forest. Walking in the forest is very peaceful and very inspirational for me, yes.
It's a big challenge working in textiles. It's also exciting, and it's fun, and it's intellectually actually it's a really challenging process. And half the fun is, well, what will I use to create this leaf, or what might I use to make this flower? Hello, I'm Kay Joyce, and I'm an artist in the Western Downs. We moved up here in 1999, and for about 15 years we ran and operated an art and craft gallery and tea room. I think at any one time we had about 30 to 35 artists. They all had a love of the Bunyas, and the Bunya Mountains and aspects of it was always a feature of all of their work. Since I've been retired, that's given me the chance to volunteer at Gallery 107 down in Dalby. It's actually been really lovely meeting new artists and seeing what they do, sharing their work experiences and so on, and catch up with old friends that we made actually at the gallery. I guess the reason I'm now living here is that I just love the rainforest up here. I see art as a communication tool for educating people about the environment, about the basic principles and truths that you can see in nature if you take your time and you look. And so anything that I create really tells a story. It's not a picture of a flower. It'll be a picture that relates a whole story. And that story is my reflections on what I see when I walk through the forest.